3 tools that you have in your van, essentials?
3 essential tools in the van. Mine would be...
Not because they're overnicked.
Yeah. Cable rods, which are brilliant, which get you out of any trouble, especially with the light on the top. A tester, because whenever you go into a house or commercial business, you've got to do testing before you can find out where faults are. And drawings. Drawings of the place you're at. Because I often might say to myself, I say, this is a must need. This is a must need. But that's a clever question, that is. Lads, it's nice of you to come along at the ELEX Show near Manchester. We're doing a thing about how do you get over stress? How do you fight stress? You're a wholesaler.
I'm a wholesaler, so you've got to have a plan B and a plan C, which reveals stress. You've got to have somebody you can go back and talk to. You know, you don't bottle it up yourself. When you're getting plenty of business and the business is going well, your stress tends to go away a little bit.
So looking for work, having work, it's a stressful thing, trying to get the clients.
Very, very stressful. And then you deal with other wholesalers who sometimes you lose business too. So you have to be on top of your game, because otherwise contractors will go elsewhere. I always say you're only as good as your last job, you know.
So it's very, very competitive. But if you've got someone you can talk to halve the stress, does that help?
Massive, absolutely massive. You know, so talking to, and normally if you've got something bad going on and you talk to somebody, it feels so much better. You get off your chest and then you listen to somebody and then you move on. You know, but as I say, I've been in business over 25 years, and the biggest thing is I'm still here. I'm still here
and happy.
My top tools will be, first one would be an hammer. You can't do anything without an hammer. And then other types of screwdrivers we use, mainly, and crimpers and cutters.
With me, I've got Simon Bell. We go back a long way. We're going to ask you a couple of questions, Simon. One is, how do you deal with stress throughout all the work you do?
Running a business can be stressful, as you know yourself, and it's just one of them things that you have to try and cope. It just takes over your life. One of the main things I try to do is, at the end of the day, I don't want to take it home with me to the family, so I'll get a pad, I'll write all the stuff down that I need to maybe think about for the next day. I don't know, materials, but jobs as well. And also money is a big thing, wanting to know who owes you money. So just to try to get all these things out of my head, I'll just write absolutely everything down, and then I can go home, relax and think, tomorrow I can look at this pad and see what I've got to tackle for the day.
Well, Jim works with you a lot. Do you talk to him about the stress?
It's really hard to talk to your employees about your stress, because you don't want them to, I don't know whether it's to take on the stress with them, because you don't want that within the working environment for an employee, I don't think. But I know Jim is there that I could talk to. If I've got this thing written down, I can try and talk to my partner then and make out the things with her. It's just one of them things that it's really, really hard to try and get that level of being stressful with work and getting a family life base as well.
Because when I do DIY SOS, my stress is time limit, because there's 9 days. And I know when we start on Tuesday at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, on Thursday morning there's 20 boarders coming through, and we got to give them rooms and everything, and Chris is pushing me, and that is my stress. I always worry. But don't you feel your work, if you've got a great workmanship and a great team behind you, that alleviates a lot of stress?
It does, and I know what you're saying about that, because when we've worked together, I can see what you're saying on, yes, really, I ought to maybe spread it out more with the employees. But I've always, I think with me, the way I've run the business, I've always tried to keep anything like that away from them, because I don't want them to worry that am I going to stop the business, or are their jobs, basically will they have a job because I'm getting that stressed I'm going to stop the business?
So in a way, you're not involving them because you don't want them to have stress about their working relationship with you. So you take it all on board. Do you holidays? You take a lot of holidays? You relax?
Holidays is a really big thing I think you do need to take when you are, well, what I found is in the early days, because I've been trading 20 years now, holidays never used to take them at all. But now I try not to work Saturdays and Sundays, have a family time in that way, because that gets rid of a lot of the stress as well, to have your family time in the weekend. It's hard for somebody to set up a business and try and have holidays at the same time, because they're trying to work and get as much as they can in.
Well, I do know one of the ways you do alleviate your stress. He puts all this nice gear on, gets on a bike and rides across Derbyshire hills. And that is, you've done a lot of riding, haven't you? You've done a lot of bike riding. Does that, the power and the energy you're putting into that, does that take some steam off of you?
I think what I found was exercise, any type of exercise, really does help with your mental health. It really does help with stress as well. My exercise is cycling, as you say, and yes, you can be out there on a Sunday morning, you know, your stresses are gone because you're seeing all the fields and the nice things to look at, so that just does alleviate a lot of stress.
I think it's more the dressing up that alleviates the stress.
Can we put that on? I do not wear lycra. Not anymore.
Not anymore. This is Sam Clancy. He's another electrician we've used quite a lot on DIY SOS. I just want to ask you a couple of questions, Sam. When you go to a job, what are the 3 main tools that you actually turn to get you out of trouble?
Can I say the Apprentice?
You say what you like. If it's the truth, say the truth.
Well, you've got to have a van to get there. I think that's a big tool, isn't it? Test equipment. Make sure you don't kill yourself or kill somebody else after the job. What else? I'd say hand tools. Basic hand tools.
Your son, James,
He's an
electrician. I just want to ask you a few questions, James. One of them is, again, what I just said to your dad, because you're out there, you're out the front working. What is your stress levels? How do you combat stress?
Yeah, just try and get everything balanced. Make sure that you have the right tools going into the job, have the right products, time management, just when you get to the job, just have a bit of relaxed go about it. Having the right people around you to make sure, again, just to combat that, so you can rely on other people, make sure everything's going smoothly, things like that, and having to switch off afterwards. So have your weekends, make sure you're not going full all the time.
Do you price jobs as well?
Yes. So when we go, you just make sure that you've got plenty. Make sure you have plenty of things in for you. So if anything goes wrong, you can bring other people in. You can have the right gear. Everything all accumulates to having a stress-free, hopefully a stress-free job.
Another way is stress-free is having people around you that you feel confident and you trust when they're actually working on your site.
Yeah, definitely. Like you say, even though you're fully competent electrician, as long as if you're struggling on something, make sure you talk to someone. Like even if you've got to have second opinion, you've got your apprentices with you. Make sure you bring them through, explain to them what you're doing, whether you're doing it right or whether you're doing it wrong. Just combating all that together, So
we'll talk about apprentices. We'll bring apprentice in. This is Dylan, and you're apprenticed with James, yes?
Yes, I am, yeah.
Tell me all about, as apprentice, there's got to be a lot of stress because, say there's 5 apprentices, you want to be the best and do the best you can. How do you combat stress when you go out on a job?
You're getting practice, so you're getting training, you're learning on the job.
I always try and say ask loads of questions.
Ask loads of questions, practice, makes perfect.
Well, I find one of the biggest things as an apprenticeship, when I did apprenticeship, don't be frightened to ask. Always ask someone senior, because you don't look like you've got egg on your face or anything. The electrician would rather you ask that question than you think you know what to do. So biggest thing, always ask. If you're not sure, always ask.
My day has gone absolutely brilliant. Met a load of customers and we're getting the awareness out there. fun fact from today, because I believe Reg is 50 years old. Yes.
The king of banter.
Oh, it's the king of
No
banter.
way.
Listen, I'm like king of banter.
Bold statement.
What?
I'll tell you.
King of banter.
Yeah.
On me.
Yeah, there we go.
When you go to a job and when you're on a job, what are the 3 main tools is your go-to tools for doing a job?
Depends. I suppose if you don't go to a domestic job, I quite like the multi-tool, as in you've got a screwdriver which you can change the heads on, because you can always get into a fuse board if you need to get into a fuse board. I think you've always got to have a pair of pliers on you, and for safety, not a multimeter, but something to check voltage, so like a flute meter or something like that.
A lot of people said the multi-tool because they can actually cut into walls like, oh dear me, I lost it then.
Oh,
yeah.
I meant a screwdriver multi-tool, as in, so you can change the heads of the screwdriver. We're doing them and people like that.
Yeah.
But the multi-tool you're on about is something that cuts
into plasterboard.
They are amazing. Yeah. They are. In fact, I've got yours.
That's nice.
What's your feeling about cats?
I very much enjoy cats. Not in that way, obviously. Do you know what I mean? I mean more their company, really, if anything. Most popular is the guard cam deco, as always. It's just a crowd pleaser. It ticks many boxes. It's for anyone that doesn't want CCTV or go to the full extent of CCTV. They can have the guard cam deco. Easy to install, easy to use, well priced, and people love it. I'd say apart from that, probably the PoE.
Name me 3 of your most important tools, your go-to tools when you go on a job.
3 main tools. Good pair of snips. Drills, right drills for do it, and then if it's job specific, I like a good multi-tool. It gives a nice clean job for when you're cutting out plasterboards and doing shears and things like that. So it always helps to give a nice clean job. Dust covers as well. I think dust covers is a massively important. So when you're going in, you just keep everything clean. I think that's.
But electricians don't clean up, do they? We don't know what a broom is, do we?
I got brought up with clean up. I always got brought up with a dustpan and brushing it over. So I might be an exception to that.
That's really lovely talking to you, boys. And listen, have a great future. Remember, there's a journey in life. Enjoy that journey. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you.